Good evening and welcome to the Monday Agenda. Today we have visited the Alliance Francaise, one of the oldest cultural centers in Tanzania. It dates back in the 1961 and we are privileged on the program to interview for the next 45 minutes of the Monday Agenda with the director of Alliance Francaise, Mr. Frederick Tibeti. Now tell us, Alliance Francaise, 1961, it's quite a journey. Would you take us through some of the milestones since 1961 to date?
We have started our history here in Dar es Salaam in the city center, and since 2000 we moved to Upanga. So now Alliance Francaise has its own venue. We are working with a nice and beautiful building. Built in 2000, just a few months before the opening in this new area, and we have specific spaces for culture and specific spaces for classes because we are both culture and education and language teaching center.
Alliance Francaise is into two parts: cultural and education.
Yeah. Education, mostly French language teaching and Swahili teaching.
Okay, so since 1961, the inception, which is what I'm mostly interested in, the history of Alliance Francaise, would you be able to say for the number of students who have acquired French lessons from the Alliance Francaise?
Let's say we have like an average about with such a 500 students per year. Of course, it's an average. We started with less students because our venue in the city center was not so huge. So I don't know, 1961, it's like, let's say, almost 60 years. Yes. Let's say 400, let's do the calculation, but we have been teaching to so many people here in Tanzania and especially in Dar es Salaam.
And do you think that the learning the French language has been very successful here in Tanzania? Do you get a lot of responses?
We have quite a good number of responses, and it's always very attractive and very motivating for us to meet all the students. These students who came to the previous venue to learn French and who are still speaking a few words in French. I'm thinking about one of the guy working in Peninsula. He's a butcher, and once I came to visit his shop, they told me, you are working for Alliance Francaise. I remember I was a child. Now, this guy is almost 60, and he has a very good memory about his studies in Alliance Francaise, and he's not the only one I met since I arrived here in Tanzania.
And specifically, would you know after they've acquired classes, are they attracted to work in certain areas, or they just acquire as an additional, language skill?
We have so different types of so many different types of students. If you meet the student we have now, some of them are planning to move to Canada. Some of them are planning to move in another embassy because some of our students are also diplomats, and they are currently working in Dar es Salaam, but planning to move to Paris or to Senegal. So our students are people in move.
Let's look onto the cultural side of the Alliance Francaise. What are some of the cultural activities that the center does? And is it promoting the French culture? Are you doing multi-national cultures?
Part of our principal activities, we have two important and two main targets. The first one is to promote French culture, not only French artists, but culture is also the books. We have a library, so it's about literature, it's about gastronomy, it's about
clothes, food,
exactly,
all that.
Exactly. And we also promote local culture. And I say local because not only Tanzanian, because Alliance Francaise, we are in almost 160 countries around the world.
160.
Yeah, this is a huge network.
It is.
So where Alliance Francaise are based they have to promote local culture. So here, of course, in Tanzania, we try to promote local artists. As far for the concerts, for the exhibitions, sometimes we also organize like debates or and all Tanzanian artists are most welcome to Alliance Francaise to exhibit or to perform.
It's a place where even the French come here to see and learn about Tanzanian culture.
Not only the French, we are open to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone who wants to come to Alliance Francaise for an exhibition or for a performance, everyone is welcome. So, for example, for our most important and most famous events, the Barazzani, which are once every 2 months, they are, let's say, open stages for artists and mostly musicians, sometimes dancers. We have like half of the audience composed with Tanzanian people.
Okay.
And the second half is international audience. So part of the international audience, we have French people, but let's say the French are not the most important public for us.
In the cause of promoting culture, French culture as well as Tanzanian culture, have you been able to, bring up some talents from especially Tanzanian youth who are really struggling with, employment, making ends meet? How far have you been able to promote those talents, besides just giving them a stage, which is highly appreciated because it's an exposure, but have you been able to take that further?
We promote French artists, we promote not only French, let's say Francophone artists, we promote Tanzanian artists. We try to organize workshops between them.
Okay.
It's a way to collaborate,
Absolutely.
It's a way to understand better and better each other, and it's also a way to share skills. Tanzanian artists, they have specific skills to share with their fellow artists coming from France, and this is the same for us. So even if we are not working in the same conditions, because in France you have a huge network of stages where artists or theater where artists can perform, so it's not exactly the same market, but we all have to share together and to benefit from one to the other.
And for the time that you've been in Tanzania, I do not know how long.
For 3 years.
3 years. Have you as a director been able to see some really Tanzanian talent that could be exposed to at an international level, maybe in France or anywhere that that could?
We receive artists who are already known abroad. I'm thinking about musicians, but also dancers. For example, we organized 2 years ago a selection for dancers for a festival organized by Alliance Francaise in Comoros.
Okay.
So it was a great opportunity for us to collaborate with Muda Africa.
Yes.
And this selection, this contest organized among the dancers was an opportunity to make them travel to Comoros for this performance. And we also organized with dancers like a workshop with a choreographer coming from France, and I'm sure that we will manage to organize a tour for these artists, Tanzanian artists, to go to France to work again with this choreographer. So yes, you have and we have here in Tanzania good talents who are able to travel, even if the network is not well organized to spread in the market, in the cultural market in Europe. But we are trying to do our best to organize such circulation.
Okay. Besides the French language or the French culture and the cultural dances or the culture and the language that the Alliance Francaise does, is there anything else besides the two that you do at the center to promote interactions between Tanzania and France?
Culture is everything.
Everything, yes.
Culture, education, they are everything. So of course we organize, for example, we have these days an exhibition about human rights.
Yes.
It's a great opportunity to promote the artists, the authors, and especially for this exhibition, the cartoonists. So we are promoting artists, but artists, they are talking about our life, our issues, our societies. And Alliance Française is promoting the way artists can have a look on what are the issues of our contemporary societies. So we are trying to connect with issues and environment, equality between men and women, and so on, through the artist, you see, and through the speech, the artists are trying to promote by their heart, you see.
Is there any special interest that as the cultural center have towards promoting the declaration, the commemoration for the Declaration of International Human Rights?
Yeah, we have a great exhibition hall, which is the perfect venue for such an exhibition. We have the connections with schools, students, young students, so they know Alliance Française. We have our network among the Tanzanian schools, the international schools, so they use to come and to visit Alliance Française. We are also working with Francophones diplomatic representations. So for this exhibition, we worked with the Belgium embassy, and they are good colleagues of us because we are always working and trying to promote the French language together. So there are three reasons, and of course the topic of human rights is for us very important, even if it's not specific to our project, and but this is one of the issue, one of the topic we can promote artists talking about.
Okay, and not of course to forget that the declaration was made in Paris.
Of course.
I think that is one of the major reasons that you came together with the Belgians to do the commemoration.
And the declaration has been written by people from different countries. So it's a way also to say that Alliance Française is open to everyone. We are French, Tanzanian, but also international, and we try to open our doors to everyone and to any countries who want to participate among our debates, among our project.
Okay, and so specifically maybe a minute or two to tell us more about the exhibition for the Declaration of the Human Rights.
Yeah, the Declaration of Human Rights is composed of 30 articles. We have, let's say, boards representing different cartoons. These cartoons, they were part of the Spirou magazine, which has been created in France, I think 60 years ago, something. And all the exhibition is composed of the different characters who were inside this magazine. So this exposition is very serious, but also very funny, because the topic of human rights has been illustrated by the different characters coming from these cartoons, French and Belgian cartoons.
Okay. And as part of cultural promotion, do we have within the same translation, Swahili translation for the cartoons? For the wider Tanzanian audience as well, of course.
Unfortunately, this exhibition doesn't exist yet in Swahili, but we have two exhibitions in the same one in French, one in English. So we try, and that's why we decided to have the one in English, to try to open it to a wide range of people.
Okay. And how, what would you say the response has been so far? Is it people responding, coming to see this cartoon and learn about the human rights?
Yeah. We had, on the day of the opening, on Monday, we had almost 250 people coming in the same day. In the morning, we had students from the public schools and from the international schools, mostly primary students. In the afternoon, we had elder students, and in the evening we had adults. So you see, we had a large audience.
Okay, and how long is this exhibition going to go for?
We will close on the 19th of January.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wish to understand why cartoon? Why specifically cartoon? Does it appeal to? I know it could have an appeal mainly to younger generation, but does it have an appeal to an adult generation as well? I mean, it's human rights.
Yeah. For us, cartoon is part of our identity here in Dar es Salaam. So for us, it was quite an evidence to welcome this exhibition. And this exhibition has been supported by UNHCR and United Nations.
Okay.
So cartoon is not only for kids. You know, sometimes adults, they have to go back and to find the regard they used to have a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way to take a distance to reality, to some issues which are sometimes a bit difficult to manage. And we all have a part of youth in our mind, in us.
Yeah.
So cartoon is for young people, but you know now the edition for cartoons are now opened to new public, and you can find so many in Europe, in US, everywhere in the world. And I've been reading an article few weeks ago about freedom and the way authors from Cartoon Network have been working all around the world to talk about our society. And you know, these questions are not only for adults.
Absolutely. What is the connection, or what is the link between the French embassy and Alliance Francaise?
These connections with the embassy, because we are one of the tools for the embassy to develop cultural and development here in Tanzania. So I am connected as the director to the embassy team, and we are working together to organize events, and we will have, for example, the Nuit des Idées, Night of Ideas, coming end of January. And this event is organized worldwide by the Institut Français, French Institute, connected to the Foreign Affairs Ministry in Paris. So you know, this is the French influence here in Tanzania. And mostly about culture and language for Alliance Francaise.
How are you promoting Tanzanian institutions in France, if at all that is part of the mandate that you have? You know, we have universities. They're probably not at the level of the French universities. Some are more, some are less. But we have universities in Tanzania, and we would wish to see French students acquiring education in Tanzania as well, name language, name, you know, agriculture. I'm not saying that we're doing better in agriculture than French, but Tanzania being an agricultural economy itself, we could always exchange knowledge and ideas in research, etc. Is Alliance Francaise one of the mandates to promote as well facilities and education in Tanzania, of Tanzania in France?
We are not truly under the mandate of for cooperation with Tanzania. We don't have the budget for that.
Okay.
But the embassy and the French embassy is well involved in these different areas, agriculture, universities, blah blah blah. And the Alliance Française will soon open and the Campus France info point. Campus France is the desk for Tanzanian students to get information about the possibilities to study in France.
Okay.
And we will have this specific corner in the library.
Okay.
It will be opened, let's say, in January.
Okay.
And we will have two connections, one in Susa in Zanzibar, and the other one in UDSM.
Okay.
So, you know, the connections with, and mostly with universities, they are very important. And we also signed an agreement between Alliance Française and the UDSM to try to develop the bridges between our two institutions to promote French language, of course, first. But not only, we also want to develop agreements and contracts, or maybe only partnerships about culture, just to open the Tanzanian students to ideas when we have a searcher or a specialist coming from France. So, you know, we are not under the mandate of the embassy to organize the cooperation with Tanzania in these different sectors, but when it's dealing about culture or education, we are trying to find our way to do the job.
So it will be specifically for Tanzanian students who want to go and pursue further studies in France. So they come here and seek that information, which university, when to start, what courses to do.
Exactly.
Is the reverse also happening? Is something similar like this happening in France? Maybe you're here at the Alliance for French students who want to come and acquire education in Tanzania, or this is just for a window for Tanzanians to, you know, learn more about French universities?
Yeah. Thanks to the connection we have here in Tanzania, and not only in Tanzania, but let's say in East Africa, because we also have two organizations, the IFRA in Nairobi, which is like Institute for Research here in East Africa, and we have few organizations like this trying to develop research in Tanzania and in East Africa. So yes, the connections are in both sense.
Are there any scholarship programs for Tanzanian students?
Yeah. There are scholarships program. They are managed by the embassy, so I cannot.
By the embassy.
By the embassy itself. So I cannot tell you more about this scholarships program, but yes, we have.
Going back to the cultural activity, I'm very much interested. Tanzania has more than 120 ethnic groups, tribes, and I do not know which are the most predominant here at the Alliance Française that have, you know, either been showcasing their dances and songs and all that. Would you, by any chance, happen to know? Or they just come in numbers and they don't even say where they come from?
They come there and their revendication, but you know they are not coming to us to us because they are coming from that part of the country or that part. You know, Dar es Salaam is the big city where everyone has his own place, and Alliance Française is trying to do the same with the artists. You know, we are not looking for their origin, for their roots to choose them.
Have you ever tried to infuse French culture and Tanzanian culture in music, whereby you probably bring some artists in French to do a song in Tanzanian style, you know, the cultural style, just an infusion of French and Tanzanian French?
Yeah. I remember one of the example. It was a few months after I came here in Tanzania. Okay. We organized the Fête de la Musique, International Music Day, on the 21st of June every year. Okay. And this event is like a big platform on one day for many artists, you know, different level, different sort of music, to perform for maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs maximum. And the audience is very huge. And we have artists coming from France every year, but we also have Tanzanian artists. And of course, it's a good opportunity to meet and to mix music, because they are performing on the same stage, on the same day. And I remember that at the end of one of the performance, which was done by the French artist, one of the pop singer, Tanzanian guy, performed with the two French guys who came from France. Wow. And after that performance, they decided to exchange their music and to send the file one to the other, just to try and to mix their music. Okay. So the guy was Jeff Duma, and he's well known here in Dar es Salaam, and it was a great opportunity for him. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think, in your opinion, the 3 years that you've been here, Tanzanians are responding very positively towards opportunities like that, you know, to to have a platform.
Definitely,
They-
definitely. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You know, we never fight, we never struggle to find artists for the Barazzani. We just have to choose, to organize, and to select them.
Okay.
Unfortunately, because we cannot organize these concerts so often.
Mhm.
Our budget is not so important, so we need to concentrate on few dates, few concerts, and we also have to organize events which are not about music.
Yes.
So you know the balance has to be found, and unfortunately we cannot welcome all the artists who would like to perform here at Alliance Française.
Mhm. And you said, did you say you do it after 2 months?
I was talking about the Barazzani.
Uh-huh.
The Barazzani is one regular concert coming once every 2 months. It's like an open stage with 2 or 3 bands in the same evening, mostly on Wednesday or Thursday evenings.
Okay.
But we also have different opportunities when we can also promote artists and singers. For example, we will have, in partnership with our colleagues and friends from the Goethe Institute, in January, a great concert coming on the 20th of January, something, with the Mafik, which is one of the well-known band now in Dar es Salaam, and these artists will perform. It will be another date, an additional date to the usual program, as we work with the Goethe to organize this workshop with sound engineers working in different cultural organizations here in Tanzania, and this concert will be one in addition to our normally
programs. And ever since, I mean, you've been here, have you had any Tanzanians who have had access to showcase their work, or, you know, through either language or through the culture, the music, to access the international platform, naming France or any francophone countries?
Yeah, we have a specific network here in East Africa. It goes from Djibouti, Tanzania, and sometimes we also have connections with our colleagues working in South Africa. So, and we have a meeting once a year to promote our artists from the countries where we are working, and we try to organize tours with these artists who in this network here in the region.
Okay. How big is your base in Tanzania, Alliance Française?
We only have 2 Alliance Françaises in Tanzania, but we also have in Zanzibar such an organization very close to us, also connected to the French embassy, trying also to develop French culture and French language. But it is not an Alliance Française with this specific brand, but we are doing the same job.
Do you do any language programs specifically targeting, boosting the tourism industry specifically? You've mentioned Zanzibar, and Zanzibar is an eye for many tourists, and I'm wondering if there are any tailor-made programs specifically for tour guides, for instance.
Our colleagues in Zanzibar are doing the job with the hotels and restaurants based in Zanzibar. And our colleagues in Arusha are also doing that job, and they are doing a good job, very good job, and it's a big part of their activity in the region, because there are many tours operators based in Arusha. And for us, we are working with banks, with international organization, with one French company managing transport. Our job here about corporate classes is wide. Yeah.
Okay. Any support or any challenges so far you've encountered in Tanzania in terms of acquiring or getting support from either students coming to acquire lessons, or artists, or anyone coming for cultural activities here at the Alliance? Are there any challenges in your work? Are they very receptive to?
We are now in an international world, and the challenge for us as French is to promote the specificities for France, the specificities for studying in France. So yeah, this is part of the challenge we are facing nowadays.
The Swahili language, it's becoming a world popular language nowadays. But I find it spreading very fast. As a cultural center, I believe you also take a lot of privilege for the French coming to Tanzania to learn Swahili. How well do you promote, if at all you do, Swahili language as well?
Yeah.
Amongst the
This is
French.
this is always part of the Alliance Française program
Oh.
everywhere in the world to promote the local language or the specific languages of the countries. So here in Dar es Salaam we also promote Swahili. We have classes for beginners, mostly expats who just arrived in Tanzania, but also with higher level for Swahili. We have group classes, individual classes, and sometimes they first come to Alliance Française for French, and after a few weeks they discover that we also propose Swahili. They say, oh, why not? Why not? I have to test.
One last word to our viewers about the activities going on at the French at the Alliance Française. If you want to extend an invitation for people to come for exhibition, cultural activities.
Yeah. We will have a very, very important and very exciting program coming from and starting from the 7th, 8th of January. I spoke about the concert with the Mafik, I spoke about the Barazzani, and we will also have a specific concert with two bands coming from France, just like an appetizer before the Busara Festival. Sautiza Busara will be in Zanzibar from the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th of February, and on the 6th, just one day before, we will welcome two bands coming from France before they go to Zanzibar for their performance. Okay. So yes, it will be a very, very intensive period for music at Alliance Française in January and February. So you are most welcome.
Frederick Tibeti is the director of Alliance Française here in Dar es Salaam. Culture is always very rich, and you can always learn from a new culture. Until next time, you're watching the Monday Agenda. I'm your host, Austin Makani, and thank you for watching.